So while I'm sitting here waiting for the YouTube checks to allow this video to be uploaded onto the platform, I wanted to get into another discussion that we need to dive into here. Because earlier this morning, on the Swedish version of NHL.com, there was an article, there was an interview published about this man right here. Vancouver Canucks, $11.6 million superstar, Elias Pettersson. He goes out there and says that he is seeking revenge. Oh my gosh, Pettersson, man. You can't be using words like that. Those are fighting words. Now, I'll preface this entire article and everything by saying this, that there's some very interesting Elias Pettersson discourse that has been percolating online over the past few hours here, pretty much most of today. I don't want to get into that. We don't need to dive into making people mad and talking about Jason Robertson and Nick Suzuki in a very particular way, but Elias Pettersson is a good hockey player, or at least he should be. He was not good the most recent season. He was not good towards the end of 2023-2024. Does that diminish the overall body of work that he has done, though? That's up for you to decide. I cannot make those decisions for you. That is all your discretion. But Elias Pettersson had 45 points in 64 games played this most recent season. We should note, however, that the coaching staff, the systems that Rick Tocchet deployed for this Canucks team, they weren't great for Elias Pettersson and his gameplay, especially with the fact that he didn't really have the proper health to make the season work. He didn't have an off-season's worth of training last year, and everything fell apart because him and JT Miller couldn't figure out their issues. But now, JT's gone, and presumably Elias Pettersson is healthy, and he's training properly. So, with all that in mind, let's go out there and read this article on NHL's Swedish website. I had to translate this from Swedish into English because the original article looks like this. It was written by Peter Ekholm. It was published earlier this morning on a freelance correspondent basis. Let's go out there and read what Elias Pettersson says about his summer training. The Canucks center looks broader across the shoulders, it says. I've put on a little muscle. It's always about building basic strength that will turn into speed and agility. Speed on the ice. Putting on a few pounds, getting stronger in general is always the goal. But for me, it's always a little bonus to put on a few pounds. Pettersson told NHL.com/SV when the Swedish Ice Hockey Association held a press conference in Stockholm on Wednesday. Speed, agility, power. I'm a big fan of these things. Does anybody remember that? That was like 6 years ago. Time flies, doesn't it? But Pettersson, still dedicating to that speed, agility, and power, has indeed put on a little muscle, which is really great. The article dives into how Pettersson declined in points, and he had a significant drop from 89 points to 45. When the season was summed up, he himself said that he had an important preseason ahead of him. He was supported by both GM Patrick Allvin and President Jim Rutherford. And judging by the slightly broader shoulders, things have gone pretty well so far, the article says. I've been healthy and have been able to train fully. Right now, I've not had any injuries that have kept me away from training. But it is clear it was a tough season. But with that said, I'm taking the lessons with me, and I'm just very hungry to have a good season to come. Okay, good. He's been healthy, and he's been training. It's not like last year. Last year, knee tendinitis was not good for Elias Pettersson and his progression there. I think we can all agree that we just want to forget about that 24-25 campaign. The article talks about Pettersson's contract, how he had signed an 8-year deal, $11.6 million a season last year. Expectations were high, but the performance level was not up to par. A knee injury during the last summer ruined his field training, and Pettersson never really got going. Man, I really like how the article is doing its best to just say, hey, the last year's version of Pettersson that we saw, that's not the real Pettersson. Will the real Elias Pettersson please stand up, because he is not what we had seen last year. Last year's Pettersson couldn't even stand up. He had one knee. Let's go out there and publish this video at 2:58 p.m. That is great. Perfect. All right, let's go back to the article. Sorry, I'm meandering here. Pettersson says, I know what I can do. I haven't actually thought about it, but for my part, I want revenge. I'm not happy with the season that was. But it's done now. There's no point in dwelling on it. I'm learning from what happened last season to become better and a more mature player for next year, says Pettersson. This guy, man. Bold commentary. That was always a strong suit of EP and a defining quality of his media interviews, how this guy is not afraid to go for the big quote, he's not afraid to say some bold things, and now he's saying that he wants revenge on the NHL, and maybe revenge on those who put him a little bit too low in a redraft. This is going to be a career-defining season for Pettersson if everything goes the way that it's being hyped up to be. And I know a lot of Canucks fans are going to be bouncing around on social media like, oh, Pettersson's going to get this amount of points next year. I've seen some people saying that Pettersson's going to get, 60. I've seen people saying, okay, well, if he gets 70, we're happy. I've seen people saying that he's going to get 120. Really, we know that the sky is the limit for this dude. He was signed to an $11.6 million contract for a reason. But he knows what he can do. We know what he can do. He wants revenge, and that is all we need to go off of to get excited for Elias Pettersson in the season that is to come. He is entering his 8th NHL season. Oh my gosh, 8 seasons? This guy's played 7 years in the league already? That's ridiculous, man. And he is now one of the most experienced players on the Canucks. He knows that. He also knows that he is an important leader for all the young players coming up, including fellow countryman forward Jonathan Lekkerimaki, defenseman Elias Pettersson, or forward Linus Karlsson. It's great fun to watch. It makes you think back to the journey you took yourself, when you came up in the league and tried to settle in. Everyone is a good player. Everyone has good qualities. I just try to be a good teammate and help with what I see that I can help them with. So, very nice comments over there from EP40. He says here at the end that he tries to lead by example, but then I know I can always become better as a leader in that aspect. I try as best I can, but I try to become better. The Canucks missed the playoffs last season, just one season after winning the Pacific Division and advancing to the second round of the 2024 playoffs. The team has made some changes over the summer, including acquiring forward Evander Kane via trade from the Edmonton Oilers. Pettersson says that he was very happy when he saw that trade. That's the kind of player we need. A player who is tough, but who, at the same time, has a nose for goals and can score goals, says Petey about the new acquisition. He was also happy when forward and friend Brock Boeser extended his contract with the Canucks. Boeser had the opportunity to go to the free agent market, but chose to stay in Vancouver on a 7-year contract worth $7.25 million per year. He has been there all the years I have been there, and it's very nice that he signed. It's fun and important that we were able to keep almost all of our players because I feel we have something good going on, says the slightly more broad-shouldered Pettersson. I love how the article consistently brings that up as a describing factor of Elias Pettersson's physical profile, that, hey, the guy has broader shoulders. The guy has broader shoulders. He looks broader. He's put on muscle. I mean, judging by the slightly broader shoulders, he's got slightly broader shoulders. Okay, I get it, Peter Ekholm. He's looking bigger. He's put on some muscle, and he's hungry for revenge. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below about Elias Pettersson and these new comments as spoken about by him. Do you think he will have his revenge on the National Hockey League? And what are your thoughts on his point production? How many points does Elias Pettersson get next season, and how much stronger does he look? Let me know your opinions in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this Pettersson'S 99, and bye.